Our favorite natural supplements. Natural supplements bring so many benefits to millions of people, and it's a tremendous shame that the medical establishment is so skeptical about natural supplements. I mean, they let a lot of other things fly under the radar, but so many natural compounds, which studies show are extremely beneficial. And we are going to talk about our own personal favorite natural supplements, each one of us. Dr. Peter, our cardiologist in the house, what's your favorite?
What else would it be? Magnesium. So magnesium, if you're a patient, you know that I love to talk about magnesium. I feel like I could talk about it all day. If your doctor came to you and said, listen, you can take this and most people are deficient in it. It helps with about 300 other biochemical processes throughout your body. It's good for your bones. It's good for your brain. It's good for immune health. And for me, really what I say is that it's really good for your cardiac health and your cardiac rhythm. And that would be magnesium. And magnesium glycinate is a form I take. I like to practice what I preach. That's what I tell my patients to take. I think it's just a wonderful supplement and natural supplement to take that just across the board has so many benefits to it. And do your own research out there and check out the power of magnesium. You can get it in all different forms. I think magnesium glycinate is the best absorbed form. Some people take it at night. It has a calming effect as well. But for heart rhythm management, I like it because it makes you hold on to electrolytes. Most people who have arrhythmias like atrial fibrillation or atrial flutter are often magnesium deficient, which in turn leads to other deficiencies of other things like potassium. And so by repleting magnesium, you're really giving a great stabilization to the cardiac membrane as well as all the other muscles.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. So magnesium glycinate. And I like what you said there about so many people being deficient. Now, magnesium levels are often not routinely checked.
Not at all.
Yeah, it's not done. In fact, I think it's one of the labs which is so underchecked in the hospital. Are you a big proponent of checking magnesium levels as an outpatient, or do you feel like that's unnecessary and people simply benefit for various reasons?
Yeah, no, I think that's a good question. I think it has its place. And I think if you have kidney disease, I think there's a place in checking routine magnesium levels because magnesium is cleared through your body, just like everything is cleared through your liver, your kidneys. So that would be the one case where I would check it. But otherwise, even people with normal magnesium levels, I would still take magnesium. And so you don't necessarily have to have very low magnesium levels to do it, because I do think the power of magnesium is that it really just helps suppress a lot of just abnormal rhythms of the heart. I see lots of patients with palpitations or the awareness of your heart beating your chest. And it really just has this unique power of just really helping suppress those without a medication, which is even better.
Yeah, absolutely. Key element there, as you said, hundreds of chemical reactions in the body and lots of different indications for magnesium use. Dr. Ben, what is your favorite supplement?
So I would say my favorite category of supplements comes down to the sleep supplements. So natural treatments for sleep are my favorite. So there are a lot of medications out there that are being used for sleep, and you'll see ads for them and things like that. The problem that patients often have is they have a lot of groggy after effects. So they feel kind of exhausted and drugged in the morning. Or they'll take the medication, but they won't go into those deep stages of sleep that are really important and restorative. But I like the natural supplements, especially melatonin. That's a natural, chemical that's made in your body. So that's natural to you. So you're just really giving more of it, and it can help in huge ways to really help get those deep stages of sleep, kind of reset your sleep-wake cycle. And, I've had great success giving that to people and seeing them get a lot better sleep. There are many natural components that can be used for sleep. So, and I understand, Peter, you take a sleep supplement, is that correct?
Absolutely. If people may know me, I'm not the best sleeper, but I do think that melatonin not only helps you sleep and fall asleep faster, but if you wake up in the middle of the night, as long as you don't pick up your iPhone or any other type of media device, it does help you fall back asleep better and so I like to take melatonin, usually 3 milligrams is probably the dose I take. As it go higher, it's probably for people who are more chronic insomniacs, and it just has a more powerful effect. But what I like to take it to is melatonin also with L-theanine in it too. So L-theanine, I really feel like helps calm down the mind, because a lot of us don't sleep because we can't really shut down our brains, or we think about either the day ahead or the day before.
Yeah, very true. And melatonin, I've taken melatonin as well as I have magnesium, very beneficial, natural. It's over the counter in the United States, actually prescription in many parts of the world, including the United Kingdom. Did you know that? Yeah,
No, I didn't.
prescription. Yeah. I don't know why it's prescription in the UK because it's quite a benign medication, but that's the way it is. All right, my turn. Drum roll. You gentlemen know what I'm going to say. By far, my number one supplement, which I take regularly, turmeric containing curcumin. Now, turmeric is very interesting because actually, if you look at studies, I mean, it's an ancient spice. It's been around for thousands of years, but there is the most fascinating research, which you will never see published in the major medical journals, about its very potent anti-inflammation, antioxidant effects on a variety of different organ systems. I mean, I've seen all sorts of studies with different conditions indicating benefits, even during the pandemic, activity against the virus. And that's because it's got that potent anti-inflammation type of effect. So I grew up eating Indian food and I then started taking supplementation as well, which I've actually increased over the last couple of years based on this amazing research that I've seen. I truly believe it's beneficial. In fact, even at the point where I have like a mild joint ache or headache, I will take a turmeric capsule. And for me, it benefits. And to be honest, whatever the studies say, I couldn't care less because I know it helps me. The question arises in why not take turmeric in food? And absolutely, I do that as well in curries and stir fries and soups. So there is evidence that when you heat these compounds up, the effects of those compounds can be lessened. It's been shown that that is the case. It won't go down to zero. You will still get benefits from a curry or another food substance with turmeric, but it can be reduced if you heat it up. So that's why, as well as putting it in my food frequently, I also take a couple of capsules often every single day to help with that anti-inflammation effect. And I believe in its benefits. So that would be my favorite by far natural supplement.
My understanding is with turmeric alone, you have to, to get the better bioabsorption is adding things like black pepper to it. And so that you can find in some supplements that really just increases your absorption to your gut. But turmeric is a great, and I see a lot of patients taking it. I think it really has its place and people have like a really good effect from it. And so I have a story that my mom, who went to a really prominent orthopedic surgeon with a really kind of painful knee after she had a bad accident. And I was just so impressed because I expected her to come home with either like a steroid injection or, be slated for maybe possibly would she need surgery. And you always think, well, you go to a surgeon and you're going to get surgery. And this really great orthopedic surgeon advised my mom to take turmeric.
Interesting. Yeah.
As an not Motrin, not Advil. He recognized that the dangers of actually some of these anti-inflammatories that we often think are over the counter, like Motrin, Advil, ibuprofen, whereas opposed to, something that's more natural like turmeric. And she does take it and it actually is effective.
Yeah.
Well, it is crazy because, people frown upon these supplements, especially like turmeric, whereas they hand out Advil and Tylenol like candy, which if taken in larger amounts can be very dangerous. Advil and Aleve can cause stomach ulcers and gastritis and bleeding. Tylenol, if taken too much, can cause significant harm to your liver. So, to think that those are absolutely fine and that a natural compound like turmeric is dangerous is crazy.
Yeah, it's so funny because you will see some very negative stories from the mainstream media, no surprise, because they're so skeptical about so many different natural compounds. And we all know why that's the case. And I've seen over the years some negative stories about turmeric. I mean, you're talking about a spice which has been used for thousands of years. And of course, if you overload yourself with anything, it's a problem. But why would they pick on turmeric? I mean, they are pushing synthetic compounds, which are frequently poorly tested, come with an array of side effects. But this is the whole thing. And I think the medical establishment, there's a couple of reasons here, and it's very sad. One is control, because some within the medical establishment might feel threatened with natural compounds which are helping people and they think are unregulated. I mean, I've heard some very prominent doctors, I'm not necessarily talking about turmeric, I'm talking about other completely natural compounds. I mean, even say a compound based on something from an apple, and they'll say there's no randomized control trials. Well, no kidding. Of course, you're not going to get a randomized control trial on the benefits of something which is completely natural. Nobody's going to fund it. It will be very difficult to do that type of study to control it completely. But they pile on that but at the same time, they're pushing these pills and injections, which are completely artificial, synthetic. I don't get it. I do get it. We all know what's really going on. But that is the attitude of far too many members of the medical establishment.
I agree. And I think people really frown on the unknown. And I think people are just undereducated about the power of natural ingredients and supplements, really just as a whole, as they've been out for so long. As you said, growing up and in India, turmeric has been around for so long. And so I think, you have to do your own research out there and look at the benefits of turmeric, magnesium, and melatonin and sleep. And I think all these tie together these should be your first go-tos, I think, before adding on synthetic compounds that are made in, as medications go generic, they're synthetic, they're made on different generic manufacturers. We've seen recalls on medications, what the medications are mixed with. And so, people frown on supplements, but actually medications in some of the generic labs that make medications for blood pressure are not all that safe. We've seen a lot, and, there's been different medications that I know that have been recalled.
Yeah. And the statistics back up that people really like natural supplements. Over 70% of the UK and United States, I believe in the United States, it might be close to 80% takes a natural supplement. But yet the medical establishment, I don't know why. They are so skeptical of this when clearly people know their own body. And I really can't stand that attitude. If I take a turmeric capsule and it eases my joint pains, if I have had a hard workout, or it helps me feel better if I've got a headache, who is some stuffy bow tie professor from his academic institution saying there's no research behind that? You shouldn't do that. Get lost. Meanwhile, you are promoting a chemical synthetic product, which I don't want personally. And medications, prescriptions should be an absolute last resort, but there's nothing wrong. And I would say the same about eating an apple. If people want to eat apples, then no professor should come and say, we need a randomized controlled trial that people are benefiting from eating apples. No, you don't. Natural compounds are not to be held to the same standard as synthetic compounds. That seems to me common sense, right? You can't hold them to the same standard.
Couldn't agree more.
No, it's true. If you look at fruit and vegetables and all the powers of all the other vitamins and natural ingredients and all those, and those are sold everywhere. And so when it comes to supplements, I think especially as doctors are often ostracized if you're not selling medications that are made by Big Pharma. And we know that there's, that's where the money is, and Big Pharma likes chronic conditions, so they can have medications to treat chronic problems. And so there is not a lot of interest in the medical community in supplements because it's not controllable by Big Pharma.
Yeah, when millions of people benefit, and we know you all benefit probably, according to the comments we've seen from supplements which work for you. But as always, do your own research. We have presented you our favorites. We had magnesium, melatonin, and turmeric, and we know millions of people take those natural supplements as well. Of course, always decide if anything is right for you. You know your own body. We are rooting for you to succeed in every way possible, whether we're talking about a wholesome diet, exercise, stress management, sleep, as naturally as possible. And by all means, if it's right for you, throw in some natural supplements as well, which are helping tens of millions of people, hundreds of millions of people all across the world. We are rooting for your success. Your success is paramount. We want you to be the healthiest version of yourself. Prescriptions are a last resort. Okay, check in the links down below for our unique separate channel, Doctors of Ojai, and our natural health and wellbeing store, which does include our own unique natural formulations of magnesium, melatonin, and turmeric based on our own experiences and all of the research we have seen. Do check that out down below, ojaiwellness.com if you're in the USA, North America, ojaiwellness.co if you're in the UK, Europe. Make sure anything is right for you. And again, listen to your body and keep going, everyone. We will speak in the next show.